This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Bacuri Farm 2K21. This map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game mod hub, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Now before we get into the map, this video is brought to you by Scooter's Workbench. Thank you for being a farm baron. So the description goes on to say, Bacuri Farm is a map based on the thicket of southern Brazil, where the land is large and crops continue on as far as you can see. The map includes base crops as well as 2 extra crops, so it is technically multi-fruit. The map has carioca beans and sorghum. There are several sell points, including the log sell point, a fixed BGA. The main farm has a sleep trigger, 3 million liter silo, cows, chickens, and multiple sheds. And a very notable feature on this particular map is a limestone mine. Let's just go ahead and load on in here. Now, we'll say that I loaded this map up earlier in farm manager mode, and there were pretty much no difference between new farmer and farm manager mode. You're going to see when we get this map loaded in why I'm telling you this right now, but I would say the preferred play mode for this particular map is going to be farm manager. You don't want to start this map in new farmer mode unless you're going to be cheating in a bunch of money, or you're just going to be playing with respect to contracts. So here we are, loaded into the map for the very first time. It is 6 a.m. It is still kind of early morning dawn here. We are standing at the sleep trigger, which is here at the main farmhouse. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. And we'll zoom on in here and we'll see that in the lands view, in New Farmer, we do not own any land at the start. The main farm is $830,000. That is why I'm really suggesting that you start in farm manager mode so you have that $1.5 million. You'll be able to buy this field and field 1. Possibly field 11 and the main farm. You're not going to be able to buy a whole heap ton on this map early because land prices are expensive and fields are big. So here we have an 18 hectare field, $1.6 million. The field just south of our main farm, 46.5 hectares or 143 acres, $3.4 million. Field 4, $1.3 million. Field 8, 4.1. Yeah, so the land here is expensive. Now, something else to note is we can pretty much buy every plot of land on this map. Everything is buyable. We do have a biogas plant, which is right here, $1.1 million to buy the biogas plant. You can even buy the sell points and the lime mine itself. So even in farm manager mode and start from scratch, we have all of this equipment here. So again, those are the play modes the play mode I would say I really recommend, which is farm manager. As the description said, we have 2 additional crops here. We have sorghum, and as the description says in English, carioca beans right here. Go ahead and take a look at the generic soil map. I haven't said this yet, but this map does not include a custom soil map, nor does it include a custom seasons mask. With a huge chunk of this map being fields, you can see very clearly the generic soil map here. We've got quite the swath of loam and sandy loam in the middle. Then we have our silty clay making its way around the map. We take a look at our sell points. We have 3 main sell points for the bulk of our grain crops. We have a unique sell point for our root crops, as well as the cotton lizard for our cotton and wool. We have 2 sell points for milk and 2 sell points for eggs. We have a sell point here for our wood chips. And this is going to be our sawmill. And if we do not own the biogas plant, we do still have a sell point for silage, hay, straw, and grass. You can see we have 4 sell points for our carioca beans and 3 sell points for sorghum. And again, we also have a sell point for our pellets if we play with the straw harvest add-on mod. Taking a look at our starting equipment, we start out with stuff that is fairly new as far as operating hours, but some of it is pretty pretty poorly maintained, if you will. K7250 Pro is pretty low there, as is the Sur SM2400 and the Horsch Pronto Cedar. We do not have any animals at the start, even though we do have cows at the main farm, chickens at the main farm. But again, remember, we don't own any land on any play mode at the start. We do have contracts available to us and wowzers. Like I said, these fields are huge. If you're willing to put in the 3 days it's going to take, I mean, you could harvest this 106 acre field of potatoes and earn yourself $227,000. You only have to do that about, I don't know, 6 or 7 times before you can buy one field if you're going to live off of contracts. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting equipment. We have the Armor Track 1104 and the Case 7250 Pro. So our tractors range in horsepower from 110 to 261. With a John Deere S790 harvester, as well as the 645 FD grain header. We have the 1978 pickup and the Joskins Transpace 8000 trailer. We have a Horsch Pronto 9 DC Cedar, the Kuhn Fertilize Sprayer. We have our Joskin Aquatrans trailer. We have our front loader arms, bucket, and weight. Take a look at our placeables. You'll see that we do not have any custom placeables available to us to sell. We don't have any custom placeables available to us to buy and place either. That also means that our sleep trigger is burnt into the map. Let's go ahead and explore the main farm here. Let's just speed up, get a little bit of daylight. So we have a water point right here beside the house. And you will find that we do have these little floating icons scattered around. We cannot turn those off as best as I can tell. I tried turning off the interactive trigger markers. I tried turning off the helper markers. None of that helped. These icons remained. We run around the perimeter of the farm. So here we have our Armor Track and our water trailer. We have another water trigger here. We have our slurry point and our manure point for our cows, which we'll get to here in a little bit. There's several sheds. We have our cow buy and delivery point. 200 cattle in this huge, massive area. Kind of would have thought that number would have been a little bit higher. There we have our case, our cedar, and our sprayer. Here we have our chickens. So we're chicken buy point. 400 chickens. We have our egg spawn point. We have our food trough. Trailer and our big John Deere harvester and header. We have our grain dump point here at our silo. We have our grain fill spout right there. Then we have our pickup truck. So let's go ahead and kind of, here we are at the road. So this is again, another water point because there is a pond right there. And it is really close to the milk, or not the milk, but the water trigger for our cows. Now we activate the animal pen extension mod, and that is what puts these blue pipes here. That helps us, one, locate where the water trough is, and two, helps us identify if the map has custom support for the animal pen extension mod. We continue on to the cow barn. We have our food trough right here in the front. We have our milk trigger along the side. Again, we use the animal pen extension mod, which is what puts the Lily milk sales machine here. You can get into this and move it around, and then that will allow you to have automatic milk sales, should you so wish. And around behind the cow barn, we have our straw trigger, located right here. Let's go ahead and get set up for the fly around, and we'll take a look around the map, and then settle down at the shop and get our Mahindra and drive around to some of these sell points. Overall, the map is fairly flat. We will find that some of the fields have some mound to them, but nothing of any great consequence. Taking a look across the northern edge of the map at this point. You see how big this pasture is. Easily could accommodate much more than the 200 cows listed. Here we have the main farm. And then the big field down across the southern area of the map. Field 5. So pretty much the center of the map is for farming. The exterior edges of the map is for your sell points and other such things. Here we have the Pioneer sell point. We have our sawmill. And then we have our biogas plant directly in front of that. And then in the northeastern corner of the map, we have the Limestone mine. We've seen this on a few other South American maps. I guess mining for limestone is the thing to do down there. That's where you can get your lime. As we move across the northern side of the map, we come into one of the lizard grain sell points. We also have our cotton and wool sell point, as well as one of our bale sell points. Let's go ahead and look kind of across the map from north to south at this point. See our main farm just kind of fading away off in the distance there. Over here in town, we have a sell point directly below us right there. We have our vehicle shop, our fuel station, our dairy for selling milk and eggs, And then another lizard grain station. But in front of that, we have our animal dealer. We have another lizard grain station there. And then we have the final lizard sell point. Oh, sorry. This is our farm. I was a little disoriented there. We do have a big old lane coming up to the main road. I'm going to go ahead and double back here to the shop. And that's where I will meet you. And we'll do our drive around. So here we are at the vehicle shop. And we have to go inside to get to our shop trigger. Really nice shop. I like this. Got various brands on this back brick wall. And today is when we had our announcement about the new visual enhancements that are coming to Farm Sim 22. Parallax occlusion mapping. And man, I'm just thinking about how cool this brick wall would look with that effect being applied. Let's go ahead and head back on outside. We have our workshop trigger right here. Buy, sell, repair, and trade, if you will. And there you go. And we have this whole big front area for our equipment to spawn in at. So we have a lot of space to spawn in some very, very big farm equipment here for this map. Let's just see. Do we have a big space to get out of the shop? Indeed we do. We've got a very wide spot here. Shouldn't have any problems coming out with even the biggest of farm machinery. So I think what I'm going to do is head south and we'll cover these sell points and then we'll double back to the north, make our way around the top of the map and finish over there at Pioneer. So here we are coming up to Lizard Fuel. So we have our fuel station. Again, we have more of those interactive icons. I really wish we could turn those off. Really wish they obeyed the, show or hide the interactive trigger markers. Over here we have Supreme Milk. This is going to be for our milk and eggs. There we are. I should check our animal food requirements just to make sure they are fairly standard. Up front, we have our animal dealer. And then we have our sell point directly behind that. So we have our animal dealer right here. This whole area is going to be for our animals. And let's go ahead and just check our animal requirements here. Fairly standard on the chickens and fairly standard on our cows. Here we have our grain dump station. Again, the idea of, man, this seeing these brick textures with the new system, that's going to be really cool. I mean, even those wood stacks back there, the new occlusion mapping look really cool with those to actually get a sense of the individual logs. Now we'll double back and head on beyond the shop. Traffic is moving on at a very leisurely pace. All right, here we are at town. Nice little sign there. I like that. And then here we have another one of our grain sell points. We're going to have to back into this one. Now we'll head across the northern edge of the map. And here we come up to another grain sell point. Before we get to that, we have our cotton and wool sell point as well as our bale sell point. So here we have the sell point for cotton and wool. A sell point for bales. And I have to say, I really am enjoying this gravel sound. Wish we would hear that on more maps for Farm Sim 19. Got our scale. And then we have our grain dump station right here. Very easy to get in and out of these areas with big trailers, possibly road trains. So that's good to see. The last thing you want to see on a map with huge fields like this is going to be really tight roads or difficult areas to get into and out of with big trailers. We're not really seeing a lot of things right up against the edge of the road, so a lot of freedom for kind of big stuff. Although we do have quite a bit of traffic, so it might be advised to disable traffic. At least disable it while you're trying to move around some big, wide equipment. Let's go ahead and drive on down into our lime pit. Kind of a rough road here, and this here is a little bit narrow and rough. So you gotta watch yourself. Whoa, let's not lose it. Not lose it, people. If we fall over the edge, this might be our last map video. Really rough roads. Really rough roads. And we made it. We have our lime. Whoa. The lime point right there. And just for brevity's sake, I'm going to go ahead and bring you back once we get up here to the top of the mine. We've made it up out of the depth of despair. I will say if you drive there off the road over on the grass, the road is a bit smoother. Now we'll come on down here to the biogas plant. We have our digester, right so. Our digestate, right so. Do have a nice shed for our BGA equipment. And 2 large bunkers. We have trigger 1 and trigger number deuce. They should be functional. Sadly, we've seen other maps come through with non-functional BGA triggers. Keep you on your toes. Keep you on your toes. Just doing a little quick 360. So we have our log cell point in here. So we have our log trigger. And our wood chip cell point. This is quite a different South American map than maybe we have seen as of late. We've seen some rather mountainous, hilly South American maps. This one is pretty flat. Like I said, we've got some mounds in the fields, but nothing really extreme. We've seen some South American maps with various types of erosion control in terracing and such. And then we have our final cell point in Pioneer. We have our scale, and then we have our dump station. So guys, that is going to do us for Bacuri Farms 2K21. Let me know in the comments, what do you all think of the map? Which type of South American map do you prefer more from the ones that we have seen as of late? And until next time, happy farming.